When the night has come and the land is dark and the moon is the only light we'll see.
In the early 1960s, Saint Augustine, Florida was a city deeply entrenched in the grip of segregation and racial injustice. African Americans faced systemic discrimination and violence, denied access to basic rights and freedom. But in the face of oppression, a courageous group of activists rose up to challenge the status quo and demand change. They became known as the Saint Augustine movement. Prior to the Civil Rights Act of 1964, racial segregation was widespread in Saint Augustine, Florida, as it was in many southern cities. African Americans were often barred from accessing public facilities, including beaches, which were designated as whites only. In response to this segregation, civil rights activists organized a wade-in protest at Saint Augustine Beach on June 25, 1964. The protest aimed to challenge segregation and assert the right for African Americans to access public beaches. As demonstrators, both black and white, attempted to wade in the water at the beach, they were met with violent opposition from white segregationists and members of the Ku Klux Klan, the KKK. The segregationists hurled insults, rocks, and bottles at the demonstrators, sparking chaos and violence. Law enforcement officers, including local police and state troopers, were present at the scene. However, they largely failed to intervene or protect the demonstrators from violent attacks. In some cases, there were reports of police officers collaborating with the segregationists to suppress the protests. The Saint Augustine movement reached a turning point in 1964 when Dr. Martin Luther King and the Southern Christian Leadership Conference joined the struggle. Dr. King's presence brought national attention to the injustices in Saint Augustine and helped mobilize support for the civil rights cause. Despite facing arrest, violence, and intimidation, the activists of the Saint Augustine movement remained steadfast in their commitment to nonviolent resistance. Their struggle paved the way for a more just and equitable society. Despite the violence and repression faced by the demonstrators, the wade-in protest and subsequent riot contributed to the momentum of the civil rights movement.